Sadly, about a week ago, my brother took his own life. Our father had died about a month before, and I had believed that my brother was depressed without him. They were quite attached to one another after all. The day before he killed himself, he came to my house and gave me our father's handed-down games and consoles. We were all such gaming nerds. I loved the 3 original Mario Bros. Games. Unfortunately, I was unable to find the first one in the giant stack of NES cartridges. However, I did come across Super Mario Bros. 2. I could tell my funny man father had printed a label he must have made himself somewhere, because there were a few things different about it. For one, the title was spelled as Super Mario Bros. 2, and the picture of Mario on the cover had Mario with a toad's head and was carrying Birdo's head by the bow instead of a turnip. Yeah, my father had a really dark sense of humor. I popped the game into the NES. For nostalgia, I decided to let the game tell me the story about Mario's dream, only it read something else. After Mario suffered a terrible fate, he decided to get revenge. He has become insane with rage, and is going to take the life of every mortal who crosses his path. That was rather disturbing. I had guessed my brother had hacked it somehow. He knew how. He was a huge computer nerd after all. I then went on. The game did not give me the choice of my character. It simply threw me into the game as Mario, who, just like on the cover of the cartridge, had a toad's head instead of his own. There was no music, and I didn't jump from the sky. I was at the beginning of World 1-1, only things were a little different. The background sky was black, and all of the enemies were replaced with angry-looking toads. This was weird. Each toad angrily charged at Mario. I didn't even have to do anything, though. When the toads touched Mario, they turned into skeletons and crumbled to the ground. I was uneased by this. My favorite game was this unsettling game. I guess my brother must have been very bored. I decided to see how the rest of the game was going to turn out. I reached the end of the level where you fight Birdo. She looked as if someone had gotten to her before me. She was bruised and bloody and had some flesh and bones showing. I was horrified, to say the least. A text popped up. Please. Mario stepped a little closer on his own. No, I don't mean, I'm not. He made another step. Why am I here? Another small step. I'm not who you think Mario pounced her. He began to ruthlessly beat her, while she screamed realistically. Sounds that can't be made on an 8-bit console. Blood spewed and showered with each fist Mario made. The last time he hit her, which he charged up for, her head rolled off. Mario threw off his head and replaced it with Birdo's. Another text box appeared. But you were one of us. You've angered us. You will rule this, Mario. The sky turned red. I heard what sounded like distant crying of a woman in the background, accompanied by what sounded like multiple evil laughs, played backwards all at once. A demonic, deep voice was heard behind it all. Chills weren't just at my spine, they were everywhere. I felt the whole room get colder. It seemed really, really cold. I had goosebumps all over, too. The sounds were growing louder before suddenly stopping. Mario's Birdo head flew off. He still lived headless. He turned to the screen and began to softly sob. I wanted to turn off the NES so badly, but something compelled me to leave it on. He cried even louder and louder. As he cried, an army of toads began to march in from the left of the screen. The noises from earlier resumed. This time, they were loud, and the woman was screaming instead of crying. I was sure my TV speakers were about to explode. Only it sounded almost like the sounds weren't coming from the speakers themselves. It's like they were coming from all around me. The laughter and deep voice stopped. However, the woman's screams began to strobe. It was almost like as she was being violently tortured. It strobed more and more and went on for a good minute and a half before suddenly stopping. The deep voice came back. I listened slowly to hear what it was saying.
The Empire will rise.
The Empire will rise? The picture blacked out. It was replaced with an artist-like picture of a headless Mario. His clothes were bloody and some parts were torn off. The picture stayed on the screen for about 30 seconds before the screen began to blink white repeatedly. The woman's screams came back along with the laughter. It was mixed with people chanting, "The Empire, the Empire." I fainted from fear. I then had a very strange dream. I was laying on the ground in a puddle of my own blood. I saw Mario coming. He was walking toward me with an angry-looking toad head like before. I kept trying to tell him that I wasn't his enemy, but I was too weak to talk. I told him he wasn't who he thought he was. Then I realized I was Birdo. He jumped on me, just like in the game. I woke up before he started to attack. Mario was carved on my arm. I ejected the game from the NES, grabbed it, and threw it in the street. I ran over it with my car multiple times until it was nothing but little pieces of plastic. I now understand why my brother killed himself. Unless he didn't do it. Whatever was in that game had done it. I hope that I'll be alright, although I think I messed up running over the game cartridge.